According to Pearson in 2015, the U.S. ranked 14th in critical thinking skills out of 40 industrialized countries. America is actually below average in mathematics when compared with 90 other countries, according to the OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. And a while back, I was watching C-SPAN, probably over a year ago now, and they had this seminar / panel of education and different ways to, and different innovations and stuff like that. And one of the guys on there was a small business owner, and he had a complaint that he wants to hire people from the local community, but he can't because local colleges aren't producing people he can hire. Obviously, there's something wrong with our education system. And while others will say that our education system needs a serious overhaul, and they may be right, I have some simpler options. All right, so we know that everybody learns kind of differently, and when you're teaching people, the three basic groups are audio, visual, and kinesthetic, which is, I guess, tactile and movement. And I was talking to my mother about this, and she went to college about 15 years ago to become a math teacher, and she's been teaching 6th grade math for about 10 years now. And she said in the 3rd and 4th year, they went over those things when you're trying to get your teaching certificate. And the idea, and teachers have to try to use not just one of those, and every time they give a lesson or a concept, they have to use multiples of those. And the hope is that the students will eventually catch on and figure out how they learn best. I think that's asking a little too much of the kids. I mean, me personally, I think we need to try to teach that to our 8th or 9th graders so that in their high school career, they can try different things to figure out how they learn so that when they study, they know how to study. And that's probably a very important life skill thing that everyone needs. And so I've been out of high school for about a dozen years now, and I spoke to my brother who's been out of high school for about 4 years. And his senior year, he was able to take what was called Ag Math for his math credits instead of taking pre-calculus. And he said that in that class they went over real life model type stuff. And yeah, it was about cattle, hay, feed, and acreage. But they also went over things like interest rates, bank loans, check balancing a checkbook. And he also told me that they were still teaching home ec at the time. And then they only been offering that course for about a year before he took it. And about 2 years after he left, the home ec teacher retired, and that was the end of that class. And me personally, I think we need to try to find something in between those two, like a combination of the two, maybe that required course for students to take, especially in high school. Now that same brother and our youngest brother, they're attending this college to get a certificate, and they're both electricians trying to get a certificate to hopefully go into business together about 2 years from now. I have a sister who went to the same college and got her cosmetology license, and I looked into trying to get a welding certificate. And the general consensus was you can do all those and others in about 2 semesters, 3 tops. And then after you finish that, about 3 months later, within the next 3 months, you could have a job that's paying you $12, if not $15 an hour. Which is great and all, but I remember my high school experience, and my brother said they had a very similar experience to where their junior year they had 3 or 4 electives versus the 2 they're supposed to have, and their senior year was more of the same. so I was thinking that why not have the high schools teach the trade stuff, which could easily be taken care of in a year. And that way, when you graduate, you not only have a high school diploma, which doesn't really amount to much in the workforce, but you also have a certificate that you can go get a job fairly quickly, and you're making almost double minimum wage, pretty close to that. And on the more academic side of things, and I've kind of looked at this, if you're going to get your bachelor's degree or master's degree, first 2 years for everyone looks about the same. And it doesn't really matter what you're going for. And so I was thinking, why not just bump those first 2 years down to the high school level? And that way, when you graduate high school, you've got at least a year knocked off your college and therefore speeding up the process and reducing the cost. Now, making high schools offer trade school type stuff, and try to knock off most of the first 2 years out of college require massive upfront investment, and then the high school boy have to double their budget for every year after that. I don't know how we would go about doing this. I don't know if we have to, and I don't know how we would try to make these changes possible. I don't know if we had to talk to State Board of Education and try to get them to do something about it, or could we just go to county officials and have them work with businesses and local school boards and try to get something worked out. Again, with the hopes that everyone wants to make their descendants have better opportunities than they had.